Can you hear me, bro?
I sure can, bro. So we live now. I'm gonna let the people let me know if they hear us both loud and clear first, and we'll be ready to go, bro.
All right.
Okay. If you guys can see me, welcome on. We are hoping that the stream is going through clearly. We're not breaking up. This is myself and Ricky. We bringing you guys the Truth Factory, episode 2 of season 2. We talked about rebirth last week and walking away from religion and how everything pretty much changes from your perspective from the inside out, and you pretty much becoming a whole new person when observing this new reality. Of course, Ricky was with me last week. What's up, Larry, bro? And so today we're going to be talking about relationships after religion. We got into this topic a little bit last time, and this topic was so heavy we couldn't even get through the rest. So we decided to just do a whole segment on this topic because it's so intriguing for you guys and myself as well. So without further ado, man, Ricky, are you on?
I'm here, brother.
All right, bet. Let me know if you guys hear Ricky. Ricky, if you don't mind, man, say something for him.
What's going on, everybody? Good day. How's everybody doing?
Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second.
But it seems like we're buffering. All right, man, what's going on, everybody? What's up, LB?
What's up, family? Listen, y'all, be patient with me, man. I got a house full of friends, man. We out here chilling. Y'all know I went to that John Jones fight last night, so they didn't know I was live, so they was asking me to come outside for some festivities, but I'm in here with y'all now. We're going to get this hour popping, and we're going to have a great, deep, intellectual show, and I can't wait, man, because I know last week, it was, like I said, it was getting super duper heavy, and I'm learning a lot just from hearing you guys talk about this subject. It's something that, it's obviously new to me. Ricky dropped a lot of his perspectives last week, and obviously it's different from most people's. And so the way Ricky was presenting some of the things, I wanted Ricky to start back off with some of the things he was saying last week and just see how, just have him elaborate on some of the things, basically the dynamics of a relationship. He was talking about some of the dynamics between his own, and he was going to elaborate some more on that. So, Ricky, man, you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just want to quickly say hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for tuning in and giving us your time, which is very precious. So we really do appreciate it. I know last week we had technical difficulties. We kept getting disconnected from Hangouts, and a lot of the things that I was saying kind of got cut off. So last week, someone in the chat asked if we were talking about sex. This show right here is not really focused on sex. We're centering on just relationships and just the dynamics of relationships and how they will differ from, a relationship when you were in religion, because you were taught how to supposedly be in a relationship, whether that be with, usually it's going to be a heterosexual relationship. If it's in most of the, I guess, mainstream religion. So we're just trying to, again, when your mind is changing, when your mind has been transformed, reborn, whatever you want to call it, when your mind has transitioned away from, I guess, traditional mainstream thinking, then a lot of the things are going to change. The things that you may do now will not be according to what's a societal norm. What's the norm in society? So my thinking is, in a relationship, your relationship doesn't have to be what you see out in society. So what society, I guess, designates that as a relationship or defines as a relationship doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship has to fall within those parameters. And some of the things that I was pointing out last week is that me personally, my relationship is open. What and what I mean, I said open on my end, and because I was speaking for myself, because my partner wasn't present to give her side and her thinking. The reason why I say it's open on my end is because I no longer subscribe to mainstream thinking in regards to how a relationship is supposed to go. Now, I know we talked about last week that there's going to be boundaries in any type of relationship, whether it be intimate or whether it be a friendship. You're going to have expectations and you're going to have boundaries. But when I talk about my relationship being open on my end, is because I just feel like no matter what, no matter how long we've been together, no matter what we have going on, no matter what the dynamics of my relationship is with my partner, I never will ever feel like I own that person or that person owes me. I guess anything other than the boundaries that stay within the confines of what we have agreed to. And when I say it's open on my side, if my partner decides to do whatever it is they want to do, whether that be, I'll just say this. If my partner decides to engage in sexual activity with another person other than myself, that's a decision that they will make, okay? And when I say open, I'm saying that I don't own this person ever, okay? So whatever they decide to do, that's just whatever they decide to do. Now, I'm more than open to have a conversation about it. But when I say open relationship, most people automatically think that I'm engaging in sex with someone other than my mate and vice versa, okay? That's not what I mean by it, and I really have to define it. What I'm saying is, if my partner or myself, I'm the type of person. First of all, I spend most of the time with my partner. I'm not the type of person to chase women, and my mind doesn't even think like that. So just because I say we have an open relationship doesn't mean that because that's there, I'm going out and I'm seeking out someone else to be sexual with. It doesn't mean that. It means that I could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years together with this person and never be involved with another individual. When I say open, my definition of that means that if something like that were to happen, myself and my partner would sit down and have a conversation about it. It doesn't immediately and automatically mean that I'm going to sever the relationship. Oh, you cheated on me. You betrayed my trust. So that's an automatic. We're getting a divorce. We're breaking up. We're splitting up the family. We're separating the household. So that's what I mean by open. If that happens, we're going to sit down and have a conversation about it. We're going to look at all of the circumstantial information that led up to that situation occurring, and then we're gonna move on from there. But I'm not going to necessarily say, oh, you cheated or you had sex with someone else. Our relationship is over. So
I want to try something here.
Okay.
I want to try something here, just based on the things that you said. I want to ask you guys a question, and while you're doing it, I'll give you guys some shout outs. So here's my question. When I was young, okay, Ricky, I don't know how it was out here, bro, but in the country where I'm from, man, if you when we started out, you didn't have a whole bunch. You wasn't dating a lot of girls. It wasn't like you hear on TV when someone's dating, they go out on several dates with different people, right? When we said dating, we meant you go together. So it's kind of like if you met someone and you guys were talking with the intent of maybe getting to know each other in that way, that's the only person you were talking to. And if they found out any different, then you were already going to be considered a dog anyway. Example, when I was at a high school game, a girl, she liked me. She walked up to me and she asked for my number. I thought she was pretty. I gave her my number. We exchanged numbers. Well, later on that day, I saw a girl that I thought was pretty. I walked up to her and asked her for information. The girl who walked up to me and got my information earlier, she saw this and was offended. She walks up to me and asks for her number back. And my thing was, I would gladly give you your number back because you're weird. I just met you, and you don't have the right to act like I can't get anybody else's number or talk to anyone. And she was just like, you're a dog. Now, in hindsight, it was a couple of weeks later we spoke again, and she said what it was is that her and all her friends were over there, ooh, he cute, all this stuff, and I guess boosted up and made her feel like it was going to be something more than what it was. And she kind of asserted that on to me. We never ended up talking or anything like that, but this is just how we thought as children. And now I feel like if we continue to do stuff like that, like just meet someone, and because that person seemed nice, that person seemed, great, to settle down with that person and say, this is the person I'm dating. Do you guys feel that is limiting you to meeting someone who potentially fits you better or whatever, rather than just saying, hey, I met this person, I like him, and then just pursue that one person. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I guess it's a couple of ways of doing it. Me personally, I'm just asking you guys, how long is it before you establish that me and this person are in a relationship versus we're just dating? My first question is, would you prefer to just date different people, get to know many people, and then make your choice from there and just see who it builds with? Or would you rather just date one person, pursue that one person with the intent to know that one person and see where that goes? And then how long is it before you make this decision that it's just that person? Because if you got multiple friends and you meet another person, Ricky, I don't know how long you and your significant other, y'all talked for a while before y'all established that it was a one-on-one relationship. But I'm asking the question because, and I said as you guys are I hear you, Anthony. I said that because I'm gonna give you guys some time to comment real quick. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of shout outs. What's up, Terry? Welcome in. Larry, what's good, my brother? And I'm gonna hit you up later, man. I definitely appreciate you joining the team. Larry is a beast, family. He been rocking with me for a while, but now it's gonna be on a deeper level. So we'll be getting with you guys soon on that. Tony Floyd, what's going on? Cassandra, peace to you. Peace, Theodora. Peace, Lawrence. Let's see. Anthony Brown Show, what's up with you? Jay Seals, peace. Terracola, thank you so much for moderating as always. Thank you, Jay Seals. Sinola, if I'm pronouncing that right. Let's see here. All right, so back to what I'm saying. I want to see if you guys have commented yet on anything. I don't see anything yet. No, me and Hallie are not settling down. I was actually very nervous. I was weird the whole night, man. But I promise you, man, Hallie was all over me, man. I promise you, I'm not joking. The look at her eyes, man, it said it all. And my hind end was nervous. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, so let's just say you have a female who or a significant other who y'all have a raw passion for each other sexually, right? Physically. And then you have other females that you may just intellectually, bond with, or you have females that or a significant other. I've said this because I'm heterosexual, of course, that you're great friends with. Y'all can get along, but it's just not physical. And you care about all these women. So how do you bring this in and still keep I guess because the one that we're going to assume is your actual real relationship is the physical one, right? But is that really? If you have someone that you have sex with, right, that chemistry's there, but the other person is just not there, but you have chemistry everywhere else, who are you really in a relationship with? Because we talk about this all the time now. Sex isn't a relationship, and a relationship isn't sex. So what is it? Because therein lies the confusion, especially if you look into, I guess if the goal is to meet one person and those dynamics haven't been explained, then that could be a lot of trouble. But I feel like if you're going into it saying, hey, we're dating, you have the opportunity to get to meet people and grow with them. And then before you, settle down or without using that word settle down, because I hate that word, without, I guess, making that commitment to say, it's you and I, it's the dynamics of our relationships, which where it sounds like where Ricky is. He's saying, hey, this person is who I'm feeling. And at this point, I'm open based on the simple fact that I don't own anyone. And I feel the same way with that, Ricky. Like, I don't own anyone. And so I would never say, you can't do anything. Now, that's not to say that if you do it, I won't leave. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to stand like me personally. I feel like this. If you're with someone and you guys are making each other happy, whatever those dynamics may be, go for it. The moment that I know that I feel that this person isn't making me happy or I'm feeling a certain way, I probably would look to go ahead and end that because I don't want to stop her from doing what she loves to do, and that would make her miserable. So it's not a shot at her if her lifestyle is just too wild for me or outside of where I'm trying to go, right? Outside of where I'm trying to be stretched to. It's not a shot at her. It's just me saying it's not working, you know. But if I say, hey, do you be free? That be exactly who you want to be, and that person that you're being encapsulates everything that I'm looking for, then absolutely. But I wouldn't I'm not Ricky. I wouldn't say you're free to go out and sleep with whoever you want, but I'm not going to stop you. Like I don't want you to only be doing these to only not do these things because you're in a relationship with me. I want everything that you do to be solely because you want to do that with me. Is that kind of like where you are, Ricky?
Yeah, exactly, man. I just want to say something. Like when I was saying what I was saying last week, and my girl, she was listening, and like it kind of messed her up a little bit because she didn't fully like understand exactly where I was coming from, and a lot of people who like really don't understand me, they can take some of the things as if like I don't care because my mind is like I have like a nonchalant attitude about a lot of things, and it's not that I don't care about it. It's just like I even if we're married, first of all, my confidence is this, okay? Anytime I get into a relationship with someone, I know that I'm gonna approach that situation the right way. So if I'm with someone who has their mind in the right place, the likelihood of her going to be with someone else is extremely small. Okay, it's extremely low because I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm communicating. I'm understanding my partner. I'm understanding that person's needs and that person's desires. So, and I'm not like prohibiting any of that. Okay, so
right.
And I'm not neglecting any of that. So when I say it's open, again, that don't necessarily mean that I'm seeking someone else. I'm in somebody's DM trying to do what I want to do, or she's in somebody's DM doing what she wants to do. What it means is we're both human beings, okay? And what people need to understand is that whether you think so or not, you are capable of everything that every other human being is capable of under the right circumstances, okay? So for someone to say, I will never do this or I will never do that, you don't know yourself well enough because all it takes is the right amount of circumstances and you'll find yourself in a situation or find yourself doing something that you never thought that you would do. And this is why I have this mindset is because when someone says, people are cheating in relationships. People are being someone that they portray to be in their relationship, but they're not that person. They're pretending. So my whole thing is because of a lack of communication, and this is never an issue in my relationship. So I can do that well. But again, like I say, all it takes is most people are only as faithful as their options. Okay, if you are a celebrity, if you have money, if you are like an athlete, and you have all these women chasing you 24/7, and you have all of this. If you never dealt with that, you can't say that you will never cheat on your spouse. All of these celebrities that have all of these athletes that have all these women, and we look at them because you just a regular everyday person. Like everybody doesn't know you. Women are not throwing themselves at you, so you faithful to your wife. But then you like, I don't see how you could ever cheat on his wife. I would never cheat on my wife. No, you don't have that man's life. You see what I'm saying? Like, IG models and the most gorgeous women ain't throwing themselves at you every day. So you don't know what you would do in that man's situation. You're looking at his life from your perspective, from your land. So that's why I always tell people, like, all it takes is the right circumstance.
Ricky, that right there is deep, man. I'm gonna tell you, I was just talking to my homeboy about this right here. This same thing. I was saying that I was telling him he has a high character, and probably higher character than what we give him credit for, or than what I was giving him credit for, solely because he's in a position where he has resources to be able to fulfill his desires or whatever, and yet he doesn't or doesn't do a lot of the things that he would want to do. And like you said, it kind of falls in the same way. If you put a millionaire at a bar and he's an alcoholic, he's going to drink himself into the point of death. But if you put a person who only has $20 at the bar, they have to go home when they tap out. You understand? And when you compare your life and the things you've done to someone who you haven't lived in their perspective, haven't walked their walk, it's really kind of foolish. Because if you're not in a position where all these women or these people of opposite sex are coming to you all the time, you could easily say in your mind, I'd never do that. But until you actually are around that, you don't know what you would do. A lot of times, man, people who don't do a whole lot of cheating is honestly because they can't. I'll be honest with you. And so if you think about it like this, is it more upstanding to cheat when you have it being thrown at you or when you don't? Like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people can say, well, I just go to work and go home. I'm not around it. My lifestyle does not entail that. My job is a private type job. Maybe you work in like a warehouse or work in a place where you don't deal with the public. So you don't really have a lot of encounters of the opposite sex like that. And so, yeah, and you could just be a loyal person, no doubt about it. But my whole point is just like, when we assert that I'll never do this and blame another person for what they have done, you just don't know what they've been through. You don't know the lifestyle that they have or the amount of people that's coming at them, and then granted, it also matters, I guess, about the person that you do have as well. If someone is that important to you, I guess you wouldn't, blow it. But again, it all goes back to dynamics. Like Ricky was saying earlier, like the word cheat. He used the word cheat, and we think about this. If someone deals with another person outside of you, this is what we call cheating, and that's only because you have a dynamic set up for cheating, right? But if you don't have that dynamic set up, then it's not cheating if it falls within the relationship. This is why I say that worry about your relationship and don't worry about it necessarily fitting into a cookie cutter mold of what other people call a relationship. As long as you and that person are happy, then that really should be all that matters. As long as you and that person are fulfilled in your set relationship, it's only when I believe that when the other person becomes, I call it being unbalanced. If you meet someone, you should have, before you move forward with anyone, I would say you should have already found your balance, your happiness, your state of being, right? Where you can exist on your own. You're not to a point to where you're not dating someone because you're lonely or, you just don't want to be single, right? It's not just you not fulfilling some other desire. So you're just using a person to fill that void. You're actually saying, I got room in my life to share some of my happiness. And so you're meeting someone else who should also be balanced. And when you guys come together, you should have that happiness together. Now, what I call being out of balance is when you guys are not together now, say you're in two different places, two different locations, and now you're miserable because you're not with that other person. And then what happens is, and it's okay to miss people, don't get me wrong, but what becomes the problem is when we project our pain or our loneliness onto that other person and make them feel bad because they're not there. Like, you know what I mean? Or make them feel responsible somehow for catering to you outside of anything that you could be doing yourself. Like when I met you, I was able to start my day without needing a pep talk. I was able to do these things emotionally or satisfy myself emotionally because I didn't know you. So I didn't require you to be that person. And then when you meet someone and they do require you to be that person and you're just not there yet, that can actually be a little scary too. Am I going too far, Ricky? Am I everywhere? I feel like I am. Let me know.
No, man, you good, man. That sounds great. And it's just that in your relationship, the reason why, and again, I'm glad you touched on that word cheat. I don't like that word either, man. It's just like I guess it would be cheating again if you set up these so-called barriers in your relationship, and you step outside of that. I guess it would it would be an error. I would more call it just an error than cheating. But again, like you have it all just goes back to honesty and communication, and a lot of that happens is because we're pretending to be people that we're not. We're just animals. You have to understand that we behave like animals. People like variety. No one eats the same food every day. That's why they change the menu at restaurants to give you a variety. You may like the same thing, you may like it a lot, but eventually you're gonna want something different. So whether that be you and your mate having a conversation and trying to do some different things. Some people are just very, very boring. They get into a routine, and that's what they do. Whether that be in the bedroom or whether that be their life period. People do go through changes every 5 to 10 years. You change. So who knows if you are going to want to be with that same person 10 years from now because your mind changes. My thing is this. I don't want someone who not saying that I have the ability to stay in a relationship and to be with one person and to be monogamous. Like that's not an issue for me. But for me to put my thinking and how I do things and put that expectation, which is easy for me to follow, onto another person, then I'm kind of setting myself up. If the person does it, great. But if I expect them to adhere to that their whole entire life and to never make a mistake, then I'm setting myself up for heartache and to be hurt. So when I say open, that means that yes, we're monogamous. We're together. I'm doing whatever I can do to make you happy. But in the likelihood that I failed in that area, let's talk about it. Let's see if some changes can be made. If I can do something different to keep things the way that it's been. But if I can't, if we need to go another direction, then we can also. I'm open for that conversation as well.
Now, here's the thing, Ricky. Because Miss J said something that stuck out to me. She says that when you communicate, you don't have to fake or pretend. And I'm going to discuss that just for a moment. You remember we talked about person or persona means mask, the role that you play, the person that you feel like you have to be in any given situation, in any different conversation. You can be a total different person over here than you are over here, and you're the same person. When I deal with my children, my mask is a father, and when I talk to them how a father would. Like I'm not playing them; it's just the role that I play. So it's certain things that I wouldn't say it to them in a certain way. I might say it to someone else, so they may not hear the same rhetoric come out of my mouth that Ricky would hear me saying when nobody's around, or somebody I'm really close to, or when no one's around, how they would hear me talk. I'm gonna be a different person in front of them. We all have different personalities and roles. Now, here's the thing: we do this with each other. If you got a friend who talks a lot, you may not cut them off, but you stop telling them shit, right? Or at least you should. You should grow up and realize that if a person can't hold water, stop giving them water. It doesn't make them a bad person because they have a big mouth, but you have to learn that you're the problem if you're giving them information and that they have a problem. Like don't do that, And so you learn. So you become a different person where you got someone else you may confide in because they hold your information or they respect your information better. They treat it like it's their own. It doesn't get everywhere. But then you have a friend that if you say something, you might as well tell everybody, right? Lighting a fuse and getting mad at the bomb, right? You can't light the fuse and get mad at the bomb. I was going to tell when you told me, I have a problem, right? So what you do is you put friends and people in boxes, or you put yourself in boxes when dealing with these people, because you only show certain aspects of yourself. You reveal what you feel like you can reveal without feeling vulnerable. You don't give someone more information than you should. Disagree if you guys do, but we wear masks. Now, here's the thing. If you meet a person in your life and they have the intent of having a relationship with you, they're probably going to come to you through the mask or the persona of that type of person. Now, here's the problem with that. If you ask them a question, they probably wouldn't answer as if they're talking to Ricky. They're going to answer in a way they feel you would like for them to respond. So this is the difference. When you're trying to remove your mask, it's a constant job. When someone asks you a question, try not responding in the way you think they're expecting you to. Really genuinely ask yourself the question and respond how you think. This is how someone gets to know you. But if you don't do that, no one's getting to know you. You understand? They're getting to know the person that you're playing. And so Jamie said, hey, if you communicate more, that won't be there, but it can be still present. You can meet someone who has intent on being with you, and you could be meeting the actual person. You could be meeting them. They actually have intent on being with you. And say you guys get started off really quickly, fall for each other really quickly, and you make commitments, right? 2 months down the road, you've now gotten to know each other, because that's not a relationship. It's not meeting one day. Relationship is how you guys correspond or coexist with each other. And this is how you get to learn each other, honestly. You don't learn each other by asking people questions. Who'd you date last? What was your last boyfriend like? What kind of job do you have? Where are you from? Who are your parents? What's your last name? What's your middle name? If that's your real name. None of this stuff tells you about a person, right? The only way you get to know a person is by being around them, seeing how they act when no one is paying attention, or they forgot anybody was paying attention. Seeing how they act when they get upset, when they act irrationally, when things surprise them, how they will respond to it. Not just responding to your questions like an interview. Because if you base your relationship on that, you're going to end up with a mask. I'm telling you. Because what will happen is you'll continue on, and when the magic goes away and it becomes about the trust, the knowledge that you guys gained from being around each other, right? When that kicks in and you say, this person that I've gotten to know, I don't like the person that I felt all these feelings for the first day I met them, right? The more I'm getting to know this person, the more this magic goes away, because we're just too different. We got too many different, endeavors that we're pursuing in life. Our outlook on life is way different. So there becomes an immediate disconnect. We're sapiosexual. And so in the mind, we connect, but that disconnect happens the same way. Now, because this person has made a commitment to you, though, early on, they don't tell you that they're having these doubts, or that they're not as into it as they were. And so now, all of a sudden, you are with a mask. They are playing a role now of a person who keeps their commitments. Not a person who is good in a relationship, because they may even fall off of that. A woman may say, well, you don't take me out anymore. A man may say, you don't do the same things that you used to do for me, in the bedroom, or you don't show me the same attention. A woman, you don't tell me I'm pretty anymore. You don't give me the same affection that you used to. All the while, you're like, well, baby, I'm trying to do all this stuff. But in the beginning, you did these things because it was magic. You literally wanted to. Where did that magic go? Where did the desire go? Is it because reality is kicking in? You see what I'm saying? And to me, it's like, either one aspect is to understand that it's not going to always be, a fairy tale like it is in the beginning, or for some people. And that when this does happen, you have to realize that maybe you are getting to know this actual person, and not that they don't like you, but they may not be as romantic as they came off in the beginning. They could have honestly been trying to earn your love, and in trying to earn their love, they became a persona. They weren't trying to be fake. They weren't trying to play you, but in trying to get your attention, they felt like they had to step up to the plate and do things in which they aren't used to doing. And they realized later on that maybe that's just not them. You know what I mean? Or it got to be too much like work. This happens a lot, man. People end up getting together, and this happens down the road, and they often associate it with the person doesn't care anymore, when really the person just probably isn't that romantic of a person. Now you have to come back to this and have another conversation, and hope that no one brings a mask to the party. Be completely honest. And how do you do that without this fear of, what if you can lose somebody? What if that person walks away from you? Because this is why we play these roles. Someone asks you a question, you are probably nervous about what you say and how they will respond to it. So you answer in a way that you feel that they can handle it. And what happens in turn is you're lying. You're not being completely upfront, and you are being a mask. And when someone says, man, you played me, you feel like, no, I didn't, but really you did. You did say the things that you thought this person wanted to hear. And people do that with their friends and all that stuff. You could have a best friend that you don't even know. They only tell you what you want to hear. They're afraid to show you themselves. And it's not because they're trying to play you. They honestly just don't like themselves or trust themselves or value their own opinion enough to present it to you. And you never know that you're dealing with a mask. And as you get to know people, you start seeing that they are not who they claim to be. And that's what really throws you off of a relationship. It's not even that they're a bad person. It's that you're not who you say you are. Like, you're not. Like, you told me this thing, but then I catch you doing this. Or you told me this thing, and now you're doing this. And this is not who you say you are. And it makes you feel like I don't know you. And when you feel like that, there's a major disconnection, and everything can go out the window. So maybe being honest is key, even at the risk of losing that other person. My man Callie said, "What's up? What's up with you, Callie? Good to see you in the room, bro." Ricky, what you say, bro?
Okay, well, man, that's great stuff, man. This is the thing, and I know people talk about the 5 love languages a lot. I haven't read the whole book yet because I don't need to. I think the most important part of that book that people don't talk about is like the first 2 chapters, and the guy, what's his name, Chapman. He's Gary Chapman. He's explaining what happened in the beginning of a relationship, and I think a lot of people need to understand that. If you understand that, then that's the greatest part of the book. The 5 love languages talking about the words of affirmation and touch and all of this quality time. That's a sidebar to me. The most important part of that book is him talking about what happens in the beginning of a relationship. You just talked about the mask. You're talking about taking the girl out all the time, showing her a lot of attention, texting her, talking to her all night. Those things are going to happen, okay, when you're getting to know someone, when you're dating someone, when you're trying to attract someone to you that you like. You become Superman or you become Superwoman. But to think that a person is going to be able to keep that up for the duration of the time that y'all together is unrealistic, okay? So if we understand what happens during the dating phase and transition that over to, okay, now we're out of the infatuation stage now. We're out of the, googly rose-colored glasses, you can do no wrong. No matter if you told me you got 10 kids by 8 different women, like I you know what I'm saying? Now when you come down from this emotional high, now you got to deal with reality. So it's not that the person played you, it's just that you was on an emotional high at the top of that roller coaster, and now you about to go down that slope. You see what I'm saying? So
and we always do this, Ricky. We always do this. We always project it onto the other person. And it's not that we're bad people and we just want to blame someone. It's honestly, it's just when you move too fast, or you feel and you see a person in a way that they don't necessarily see you, or you at least feel that way. It's natural to say, hey, you did me wrong. When really, if no one lied, like if you like, for me personally, I prefer to get to know people and take my time, right? I'm not even interested in a long distance relationship, right? I'm not to the point in my life where I feel financially able to even deal with something like that, because that's a lot of travel, a lot of things you got to do to like meet up and all this kind of stuff. So me personally, I'm like, because you have a whole life to worry about, worry about your life whenever you're not around me. I worry about my life when I'm not around you. And when we come together, we can make each other happy. It could be it could be like a vacation. But this is what happens when you're pursuing people anyway. In the beginning, they don't leave with their problems that they have at home. They forget about all of that. They're focused solely on you. You are their escape. And then as you guys get together, you start coinciding. Then, of course, you start talking about your lives and from the financial aspect, because you're probably talking about bringing all that stuff in together. And once that happens, that becomes part of your discussion, and the relationship can become mundane. But to me, it's like it keeps that passion there whenever you don't bring all of that outside stuff that has nothing to do with them into the relationship. And I think the best way with that to me is just avoid that type of conversation. So with me, it's like I like the magic of getting to know someone without the responsibility of like that comes with, I guess, the needs that a person may require of you before you're ready to commit to them in that way. Like, hey, we can be happy, we can have fun, we can laugh together, but it's like, hey, the moment it's like, why didn't you call me this morning? Or why didn't you text me? Or why don't you check up on me? Why don't you do all of this? That is going to push me away because I'm so, I guess, my life has taught me to be so independent that if I'm not ready to do all these things on my own and I'm not already doing them on my own and someone asks me to do them, once I do them, I feel fake for doing them, number one. And then number two, I now know that she's feeling a kind of way and she's feeling hurt when I don't call. And that makes me feel bad because I don't like to hurt people's feelings, honestly. So if I feel like someone is sitting around while I'm off having a good time worrying about, whatever I want to worry about, this person is at home or whatever, like missing me, saying, I wish he'd just call and checking their phone every few minutes. The moment a person makes that known to me, that scares me away because I'm not doing that. And it's not that I don't miss anybody. It's just I know how to take my mind off of those things and focus on what I need to focus on and then give my time whenever I can give my time and make it worthwhile. I feel like there's nothing more amazing than someone being with you because they want to be. Like they could be anywhere in the world, but they are right there with you right at that time because they want to be. And after that, it's not when you go back home, make sure you call me every day and make sure you stay with me on the phone for an hour a day. I'm just not going to do that. I can't see myself doing that, especially in that of a long distance relationship, because I know how the mental can be. I know how conversation works. I know that I'm a very wise person, and I know that I'm sapiosexual as well. And when you're talking to someone and you're both intellectual, there can be a connection, and it can be stronger than what it should have been too early, because y'all talk all the time. You build these habits up of talking to each other all the time, and you're not ready for it. And by the time it doesn't work out because you were too far away to actually have those interactions to get to know each other, your hearts too intertwine from all the phone conversations. So to me, it feels like it's just scary for me, to invest that type of time into something that you don't know about. Like I met you might have met someone maybe 3 or 4 times on different occasions. And then outside of that, it's on the phone all day long. I'm not going to do that because I'm not about to fall in love with you or something like that. Like, I don't know. That's just my mind. It's like if someone was close to you, around you every day, maybe it'd be different because you kind of got to be around them. They're there. But if someone's out of sight, they out of mind for me. And it's not that I don't care. It's that I care so much about my life right now and correcting that and building my own life. I can't leave you and still be talking to you. I'm going to focus on what I got to focus on, Ricky, and I feel like for me, man, it makes me feel like I'm unfair by way of the relationship not even a relationship, but when I start talking about this, to me, I feel like I'm being unfair. Someone said they can't hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me, but I feel like I'm being unfair because that just sounds crazy, right? How can you tell someone that you want to enjoy their company, but you don't want to be too committed to them, over the phone or in ways like that, and then still say, well, I still want to get to know you, like without understanding that. I mean, they'd have to understand, of course, that this is not saying that you don't want to get to know them, but you're saying that I don't want to risk the communication side because of what can happen with that. That's my risk. That's how I feel vulnerable. Like, what do you do when it sounds, I guess it's, to me, I guess I'm going to ask my own question. You find someone who is okay with it, and then it's not so crazy, right? Because it may sound crazy and out there, but if you're not looking to be in a relationship with everyone, right? You're looking for one person who understands what the heck you're talking about, and to them, you're saying magic words right now. They're like, wow, I wish somebody would have said that sooner. But to a person who's not feeling that, you just want what you want, Kevin. You just want your cake and you eat it too. Don't everybody? I mean, I don't know. I thought you're supposed to say what you want before you go into a relationship. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Not say what you want. But then when you say that, they say you just want what you want. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Help me out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I want to say something to what you were saying that goes along with that. You also, when you get to know someone, you can't be blind by your emotions because when people are being honest, you have to recognize what it is that they're telling you, because a person can be brutally honest with you, and you don't pick it up, you don't pay attention to it. It's just like the person's not there, like the words that are coming out of their mouth is not going into your brain and it's not registering. You know what I'm saying? So when someone, we have the issue where people are not honest. They're being the person that they think you want them to be, and then you have people who say, "Hey, this is me. This is how I am. This is who I am," and you, because for whatever reason, I guess you think that you can deal with that. Okay, if you cannot, if there's something about a person that you feel like in your mind that you can't deal with long term, and there's nothing wrong with like trying it out. So you know what? I don't really. That's not really an attribute that I desire. But you're working on it. I'll give you an example. I dated a girl. She told me she had anger management issues. She had dealt with it. It was a red flag for me. But she said she had dealt with it. She's been in counseling. It was in control. So I was like, yeah, I was a little bit reluctant, but I was like, okay, you dealt with it. Everybody has a past. I'll give you a chance. You see what I'm saying? So I gave her a chance, and then she still exhibited, issues of where she thought that she wasn't in control of her anger. So I was like, you know what? That doesn't work for me. Just because of previous relationships I've been in that have been violent and things that have taken place. I'm not saying that people don't have their things that they're working on, but I'm like, that doesn't work for me. Okay, and we were in a point in our interaction where it was like, okay, we're not in a relationship, we're dating. I gave it a shot, doesn't work for me. I gotta leave. You see what I'm saying? And she felt like I deceived her. I'm like, I gave you 4 months of my time. Like, who does that? Like, I took you out, I spent money on you, I did all of these things. Like, I wasn't playing around with you, but I was like, you have road rage. You're like raising your voice, like you're being aggressive. Like, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I gotta cut ties right now. I'm not gonna be 2 years from now, wishing that I would have, you know what I mean, like let go of you. You know what I'm saying? At 3 months or 4 months in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like she told me who she was and what her issues were, and I myself I couldn't deal with that. So I'm not gonna force myself to be in a relationship with you when you have attributes that I don't desire. You see what I'm saying? It's nothing personal. It's just like I gave you a chance. You're at a point with your anger issues that I don't feel comfortable with, and that's being honest. So I think sometimes a person, when they are honest with us, we have to take that information and we have to apply it appropriately.
I agree. Miss J says, what about those who just want the infatuation phase? Like, once that's over, do you just leave? Like, do you just leave once that phase is over? And Jamie, I would imagine, yeah, if that's what those parties want is just the infatuation part of it. But who's to say it could ever end? The thing is, man, when you go into a relationship, you're stating what you want. You have no anticipations of when you might actually fall madly in love with this person, and that may be the only person that you want to be with, period. Like, so I could personally go into a relationship and say everything I'm saying now, I'm trying to take it slow. I want to focus on what I'm doing and things like that. But I could meet someone who I fall head over heels for, and all that goes out the window. The whole thing is be honest about what you want up front and throughout. If you are honest up front, if I'm dating someone, meaning we go out on dates, and we establish this type of relationship that I discussed earlier, and she says, okay, I'm down with that, I'm cool, I can do that, I can see you whenever you're available, and I'll make myself available to see you. We'll have our fun times, and we won't require much of each other outside of that. And say she says, I'm down with that, right? And maybe a month or so down the road, 6 months down the road, she says, Kevin, man, I'm just too into you. It's not enough for me. I need more. Then at least I don't feel like she's wrong to me. I feel like she's being honest. When she said she could do it, she could do it. When she came back to me and discussed with me how she felt now, we have a decision to make. Am I willing to change the dynamics of our relationship to fulfill what it is that she desires to be in order to be with her, or do I still want to keep it the same way? And if I do want to keep it the same way, then we'll have that discussion. If not, and I feel the same way, then the dynamics could definitely change in that relationship. She could say, well, if you, I need to just go ahead and just, end this now, because I'm feeling different about this. I'm wanting more, and I would have to understand her what she's saying. But just understand, people change, man. And so someone could go in and be head over heels for you in the beginning, and then not like you that much after a while. And someone could come in and it be a relationship that seems to take off really slow and then blossom into something amazing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And people play different roles in your life, and you have to understand the one that they feel, and not so much where you put them, but that nobody else can fulfill that role. Like, say I have a friend who I can talk with, and it just about intellectual stuff all day. Like, you know what I mean? And we cool. We hella dope, but there's no sex involved at all. I'm not interested in that way. Don't think or care if she is. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like that. I have a friend who, when we're together, it's ridiculous. It's like we best friends. We dance, we laugh, we act stupid. It's everything. Like, you know what I mean? And it's literally everything. You know what I mean? But you have different things that you have with different people. You know what I mean? Again, some people have relationships where they have just a sexual relationship. That's not something that I currently have. But again, if you have that, and you and that person is having a sexual relationship, they have to understand the dynamics as well, and that could also change as well. That person could change their mind about that relationship, and they have the right to, and you can't get upset when they decide to. You have to understand that, hey man, when it's over, it's just over. And I guess outside of that, just people may say, well, what do you do with that? Because that's going to hurt, right? Maybe it probably will, but listen, guys, in religion, it still hurts when you're in relationships, and nobody has an answer that's going to guarantee you a forever long relationship with anyone. You can just do the best that you can. You are dealing with someone else. People are fickle, meaning they do change, and they have the right to. So all you can do is just enjoy the ride. I don't know. To me, I feel like if you look at it from that perspective, you'll get along better. You can say, what is it I'm supposed to learn from this situation? Not, I hate men, or I hate women, or I'm never dating again. You wasted my time. You did this and you did that. You were there because you wanted to be. And if you saw the signs to leave, you should have left. You should never blame another person for keeping you there. You should understand that, hey, you stayed because at that point you wanted to stay more than you wanted to leave, even though you weren't happy necessarily. And don't blame that person. Find a way to take responsibility for that relationship. If you get on a roller coaster and the roller coaster is absolutely amazing, you'll get off and you'll talk about how amazing the ride was. Man, it was crazy. It was awesome. It was awesome. You won't project onto the roller coaster anger because it ended, right? Because it's going to end. It's not a forever roller coaster. Look at life the same way. Your relationship with people is not going to be consistent throughout life. I mean, your relationship with an associate could turn one day into a best friend. And that could also turn back into an associate or an enemy. Understand that people do change and dynamics change. When you go into life with that expectation and say, I just want to be where I am at that moment, I don't worry so much about the rest. Enjoy the moment. And then if things don't fall the way you want them to, just move on saying, hey, I enjoyed it while it lasted. Did you have fun while y'all were kicking it? If it lasted 6 months, did you guys have an amazing time? Like, were you miserable? Or did you have an amazing time? Like, have an amazing time. Don't be miserable. That's how I look at it. Like, people can stand up all day and say, I've been together 15, 20, 30 years, and they could have been miserable the entire time. And someone could have said, man, our relationship only lasted 5 months, but those 5 months for both of those were complete heaven. So it's not everything a relationship is joy between you and another person, or I guess, that happiness that you share with another person. The idea that it should be 20, 30 years, I think that's throwing us off. What do you do when it ends? I think we're looking too far. I think if you just say, wherever I am is where I'm going to be. This is a fact. Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever I am, there I'm going to be. I can only exist in the moment. And if I take my mind outside of that, I'm being unfair to that person that I'm with. The moment I ask that person, are you going to be in my life forever, or can we be in a relationship 10 years down the road? I need you to commit to me and tell me you're going to be with me forever. You're asking something from that person they can't give. We're not promised tomorrow, and I personally wouldn't want to make that promise. I don't even know if I'll be here tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll like you tomorrow. So just to be frank, so it's like if someone says I'll be here every day with you for the rest of your life, I can't make you that promise. I may not even like you tomorrow. Like Ricky said, I may find out that a lot of your ways are outside of what I like, and I might be like, I don't like this person. She's beautiful. She's great to have a conversation with, but as far as us hanging around each other like that, I don't like her. I don't like her in that way, And it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. Am I an asshole now for have came to that conclusion, or am I more of an asshole for playing you alone and then treating you miserably? And then, and make complaints about my girlfriend rather than just change who this person is because we don't get along. I think if you're honest with each other, at least you have a real relationship, and it doesn't have to be a long relationship. Like, is it real? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't need to be promised that it's going to be forever. I done had a lot of people in my life die and go away. And so I guess that's not a requirement for me, is that someone promised me they're going to stay there, because I just know that people can't do that. I know that even if they make you that promise, they can't make their body stay alive forever and make it to where they can fulfill their actual promise to you in any way. And they can't control their mind if they won't change how they feel. So I guess to me, I just need you to love me like it's no tomorrow. That's my slogan. Love me like it's no tomorrow. And if tomorrow comes, we can do that again. But don't promise me that you're going to be here 3 weeks from now. That's crazy. That's crazy. The most that I'm into talking about the future is, let's plan an escape 2 months from now. I can talk about that, but if because if anything changes, then we can change that date, or something can change. But if you say, are you going to be with me 2 months from now? I can't make you that promise. I don't want to lie to you. I feel like we should just get to know each other. We could be together 20 years down the road. I don't know, but asking someone to tell you that is just unfair. And what you're doing is you're leading with your insecurities, and you're saying, I want you to validate me. I want you to confirm for me. And so you have to understand the question is really more about you than them. When you ask a person to commit to you in that way, it's really you speaking from your own insecurities rather than what they should be doing as a person. And if they cater to that weakness in you, to that anomaly in you, you'll continue to do it. And I'm not gonna do it. I don't know. And I wouldn't want you to do that to me or for me. If you see that I'm, acting out of my insecurity, I don't want you to make me a promise just to soothe me. I want to be an adult, and I want to be treated like one, and I want to treat you as one. And I think that entails being honest with how you feel and what commitments that you feel comfortable making. It doesn't mean that you don't want that. It means that you're not looking for that, because I feel like it's foolish to look for a relationship. They cannot be found. They cannot be found. They can only be created. I saw a picture, man, of a cartoon where a girl had cut out the shape of a heart, and they said, I want to get that. Where'd you get that? And she said, I made it myself. And inside the heart, it said happiness. I made it myself, man. You can't find it. You can only create it. You can only create the relationship. You cannot find it. So if you sit down at a table or wherever you meet this person and you say, I'm looking for a relationship, you got it all wrong. Because what that tells me, honestly, when you say it that way, it says that I'm looking for a relationship, and I'm going to use you to fill that need. Not I'm looking for you, and in finding you, I have found I have created a relationship. I'm looking for a relationship, and I'm just going to fill that void with a person. That's what people do. They don't want to be single. They don't want to be alone, so they fill a void with a person, and then they expect that person to fill that void, and they don't. You can't do that. Like if you find a puzzle piece empty in your puzzle, that doesn't mean that the piece you put there will work or fit. And so what we're doing is we put the piece in the spot, and there's so much room around that piece, it obviously doesn't fit. And then we're still trying to make it fit. And now this puzzle piece been sitting there when you could have filled that void with something that actually fits that puzzle piece, instead of just saying, I need somebody in my life. I don't like being lonely. I like somebody to check on me. So I need a man. I need this, I need that. And honestly, when women say I need a man, they're referring to a construct. They're not even talking about a person, a human being. This is how you know we don't see each other as such.
And men, when they say I need a wife, they're not talking about they're talking about a construct. They're not talking about a person. When a man says I need a wife, he's talking about a helpmeet, a person who can clean behind him, or not necessarily clean behind him. I'm not saying he's looking for a mother. So men, that's not what I'm saying. But I do mean you're looking for somebody to help you, so to speak, do the things that wifey does, right? Wifely duties. The same thing when when a woman says I'm looking for a man, she's not saying I'm looking for a adult male. She said I'm looking for a person who fulfills the roles of being a man, somebody who probably has a job, brings balance, security, that can protect you, make you feel safe and secure. This is what you mean. And so you try to fill that man role with an adult male, and it don't mean he's going to be that man that you need, because you're looking for a definition, a construct in your mind that you're looking for. And so is he. When he's looking for a wife, it's something that I probably can't describe for him. Only he can, right? And only she can describe what she's looking for when she says, I'm looking for a significant other. So we have to recognize that and stop trying to fill a role with the person. You're looking to fill a role and you're trying to use a person to do it. Meet the person, get to know the person, let the relationship work out the way it's going to be. And that'll be it, man. When you meet your friend, when you met your friend day one, you didn't say, let's be best friends. And you didn't sit down and say, let's become best friends. Y'all know that would have been weird. But you just got to know each other. And the way y'all responded to each other, the connection, it just turned into that. And nobody had to put a gun to each other's head and force this thing along, right? And believe me, Ricky, if you ever had a male best friend that hit you up trying to make you feel, I guess, bad for not telling them something that they told someone else, or not treating him like a friend that day, not calling him, wouldn't that start making you feel weird, like he's forcing the relationship?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you would.
I'm like, no, I was gonna say, man, I'm like this, bro. Like, and I'm gonna quickly kind of go back to what someone said about staying in the infatuation stage, or if that's all you want in a relationship is to be in the infatuation stage, like that's fine. But we just got to be careful of what comes out of the infatuation stage. So if you are if you want to stay, well, it's good to understand that about yourself, because I think that a lot of children have come out of the infatuation stage, and it's like now you got 5 children, and this goes for men and women that have come out of the infatuation stage, and now you in another infatuation stage with someone else. So I think it's important for us to realize what comes out of the infatuation stage if we're going to stay in that. So also, like when we talk about love, when we talking about how you feel about yourself, I've been with people that says, you don't make me feel important. I'm like, I can't be with someone who needs me to make them feel important. I don't want someone to love me so much that I don't even, in love, that's just a word, that's just an emotion. I don't really think a lot of us really understand what that really is. I don't really need you to love me. I just need you to like me a lot, or like me a little bit. Because like when someone says, I love you so much, I love you, Ricky. People kind of throw that word around, like like hi and hello. But like I don't want someone to love me so much that if I'm absent out of their life, they're going to be destroyed by me not being there. Okay,
right.
That type of love scares me. I had a conversation with my girl, and I told her we was just talking. I was like, if I get you, like she's like, I would never leave you, Rick. And I was like, you can't say that. I was like, if I got paralyzed, and I'm a paraplegic, I was like, you're gonna stay with me? I'm like, you're gonna live the next 30 years like taking care of me? I was like, she's like, yeah, I would. And I was like, no, you wouldn't, because I wouldn't let you do that. I was like, if I was paralyzed, I was like, I would dump you. I would leave you. And she was like, what? She like, it made her sad for me to say that. And I was like, you know what? That's just me being unselfish, because I wouldn't want you to spend the rest of your life taking care of me. I mean, I can't have you do that. I mean, it's nice to hear you say that, but I was like, if I would make it easy on you. I would dump you if I was paralyzed. I was like, I wouldn't allow you to spend the rest of your life, taking care of me.
Now, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you had a male best friend that hit you up trying to make you feel just a perspective. It does. You're right. It would sound selfish to ask her to stay and you know, sacrifice her life and stuff like that to take care of you. But wouldn't you also consider it selfish for making that decision for her if she wants to do that? Because who else going to do it for you? Who else going to take care of you in that way?
Oh, there's people who get paid, you know, to take care of me. They probably wouldn't do it, you know, as best as a family member. But I mean, whether it be selfish or not, I would just leave that situation. I was like, you know what? I appreciate the sentiment. Like maybe when it first happened, you know, you're recouping, you're dealing with you know, that transition in your life of not being able to use your legs, and maybe, you know, for the first few months you gotta get acclimated to that type of thing, that your life changing in that manner. So someone to be there for you emotionally and you know, help you physically to get adjusted to that, I was like that would be fine. But once I'm adjusted to it, I'm like, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm breaking it off. Like I'm not gonna allow you to stay with me. I want you to, the unselfishness in me is me wanting you to be happy. You see what I'm saying? And live the life that you desire to live, to be with somebody that can do all of the things that you want to do. I just gotta. I would make that decision.
Wow. Okay. And I want to say this right here too. Before we end it, guys, I want to say this when it comes to like relationships, man, and when it comes to people changing up on you or whatever. I've been on both sides. I know all too well what that's like, and I also know what it's like to you know, to like Ricky's situation, like saying, hey, to have somebody have your back and take care of you in that way. I'll give you guys like a short story. I haven't really talked about like a whole lot about my life, but Jamie, whenever we was married and stuff like that, I went through like male breast cancer, right? Now I haven't told you guys this right here, but I went through male breast cancer and I had to have the masses removed from my chest, right? And at this point, we've been married for several years, probably 12, 13 years at the time. And I'm sitting here with this having these things taken out of my chest, and I have these bulbs that stick out. They have to be like emptied and stuff like that. I'm in pain and all this stuff. And of course, Jamie is my wife at the time, or we're together at the time, and she helps me all along the way. She helps me back to health. I mean, she's there. She does all this stuff. And it was when this happened that I guess I had an epiphany. I thought about like our marriage and how we were married and how it wasn't the ideal marriage for me. I wasn't happy and things like that. And this is why I say it's this person that has the because I was talking about earlier. I'm just trying to wrap up the show here, but about how a person can begin to put on a mask, and I was going to put that mask on because I didn't want to be in the relationship. I wanted, I guess, my freedom because I've been married for so long, and it didn't happen the way a marriage should have happened and all this kind of stuff, whatever. But it was so difficult for me to tell Jamie, like, because I didn't want to hurt her. And honestly, I felt like I was wrong because she really did help me. You know what I'm saying? Like during the surgery stuff, she was, you know, a good wife, or I hate to even say wife, but just because I never look at her like a title, but a good person the whole time. And so what do you do when the person seems to treat you right, be nice to you and all this stuff, and you still don't feel that way? You know what I mean? And after she had already done all that stuff, it was very, very hard. Nevertheless, I was able to say the words or whatever, and we did split up. You know what I mean? And I felt so wrong, so bad, because it was just like she didn't deserve it. Because in our lives, man, when it comes to relationships, I think we need someone to deserve to be broken up with before we can do it, because you feel a need to stick to your commitments. If the person hasn't done anything to break the commitment, the dynamics of the relationship, you feel obliged to continue it. But what about when you're miserable? You know, what do you do? And that's the thing that's hard for a lot of people. And so they play a role knowing they're not happy, and they just, I guess the situation's fine because you get along and stuff like that. But what's important to you? So long story short, we did separate, and then here we are years down the road. I went through another surgery, right? Just to what Ricky was saying. Now the dynamics of mine and Jamie's relationship we're totally different now. And look who still had my back. Jamie was still there to have my back because I didn't have anybody. I don't have parents or grandparents. So my grandparents was dead before I was born. Aside from my grandmother who died, a long time ago. And I don't have parents. So in this situation where I'm gonna be on bed rest and need all this help, I'm sitting here like I'm on my own. And no, I wasn't. Jamie still had my back. So it's, even she didn't need to have a role of a wife or a role of a relationship to have my back. Like, she really solidly had my back. And this is why I tell a lot of people, and even women, like, Jamie gonna be there. Like, she is my rollie. Like, she's one of my best friends. She's proven that every step of the way she's gonna have my back, regardless of the dynamics. And I'm saying that to y'all to say, if the dynamics of your relationship do change, don't be afraid to have discussions, because it could turn into a great friendship and a great life companion, somebody who going to always have your back and you will always have theirs. And it may not end up being something where you and that person going to have to hate each other and go on Facebook and put up posts about each other and, warn people about each other about dating them. You can accept each other for who they are and grow with them and say, look, I love you enough to want to be in your life, period. Because we've always been solid. I ain't going to do her dirty. She ain't going to do me dirty. And so, a solid person when you see one. But you need to understand if someone's compatible with you relationship wise, and then be honest with that person and not stay with them at the risk of losing them totally, because that is selfish to not tell that person the truth because you don't want them to be mad at you, or even you don't want to see them cry. It's selfish on your part because you're only doing it because you don't want an awkward conversation. When it's better to just be honest with people and let them know who you are and where you stand, and maybe they'll love you anyway, and in the way that they can, and so that the relationship can continue, whatever that relationship will develop into. And I'm saying that to say, guys, I'm talking from experience when it comes to that. Being honest with that person is everything. Even when you feel like you're wrong, even when you feel like, that you shouldn't be saying that to that person. That was probably the hardest conversation for me to have. But at the end of it, you get to walk away being honest, and that person gets to say, even if they don't understand it at that moment, they still say, I appreciate the honesty and that you didn't play them and string them along. So always be honest, and whatever the relationship can be after that, it could turn into something new. But that's my thing. Like, what Ricky was saying, hey, having somebody to stick by his side or whatever, I have that. I have that. I guess because I know right now if something happened to me and nobody else is gonna have my back, Jamie would. Like, I know that, and she don't need to be my girlfriend to do that. Like, you know what I mean? She genuinely loves me. I genuinely love her. So if she got paralyzed, I would have her back. Like, whatever I would need to do to help her along, or if she was in some surgery or down, I would have her back, because everybody needs somebody that they know they can trust and depend on. Whatever the relationship may be, I would say, because like Ricky said, we are in this life, in this as organisms trying to survive, and we shouldn't need titles to help each other and have each other's back. And I know that life has taught us to want them, but we could just love each other, man, and we don't need all of that to go along with it. And it just feels great to know somebody got your back. You know what I mean? So I would say, Ricky, don't push people away, because you never know. Like, I know that you and I have a similar like background and upbringing. So I think I probably feel the feeling that you feel, and I know where it come from too. And I actually respect it. But I guess in my life I learned, man, like when you down and people want to be there for you, you gotta let them, And I know the tendency is to push them away, because in life in the past, people didn't come to your rescue or aid, and you just kind of used to that. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you feel about that, Ricky, but I just want to clarify, man. I don't mean any disrespect to any paraplegics or quadriplegics. I just use that as an example because it's something that
it can find you or it prohibits you, not from living life, but, just from doing certain things. And I've cared for people before. I've been a caregiver. I've worked with people with physical and mental, disabilities. So I've seen that, close up, that up close and personal. So anyone who's had a tragic, accident, happen to them or dealing with any type of disability, please don't. I didn't mean to offend anyone whose family members may be in that situation. It's not me not allowing people to love me or anything like that. It's just that people when again, like I said earlier, when you're not in the you can say what you would do when you're not in the situation. Okay, I can see that I would break up with the person, but when I'm in the situation, maybe that would be different. Maybe the person who's saying that they would stay by my side feels that way now, but when the situation happens, maybe they would. So what I'm ultimately saying is that I wouldn't make that person obligated to stay or to leave. It would be that their decision. If they stay 5 years in and they decide, you know what, I need to go. I want to go pursue a relationship somewhere else. I would be okay with it. If they wanted to stay, I would be okay with it. But again, it all goes to we're human beings and our minds change. And once we're dealing with the situation and we're in it and we're dealing with those circumstances, our thoughts and our perspective may be totally different from when we're outside and just saying, okay, this is where my mind is today. But once the situation you're living it, then your mind can change, and that's the point I was making.
Excellent point, brother. Excellent, and I love Ricky, man. I love how even just in thought, he in a regular conversation, he was like, you know what, maybe I would let her have that decision. This is what I mean when I say that I love dealing with people, Ricky, who can listen to themselves, rethink what they say, and say, you know what, and make an instant change and say, you know what, maybe I was being a little too harsh there or whatever. And I think that's amazing when you can have a relationship with anyone and you base it on intellect and thought, because what we've done so many times is we've based our relationships on religion and worldly constructs of what they say relationships should be. And that is what's thrown us off. To end it, guys, keep this in mind. We are just organisms trying to survive. We may call ourselves human. We may call ourselves people, black, white, male, or female, but we all need a social partner to go through this life with, whether that be intellectually, emotionally, physically. We need these things to procreate and to live our lives and grow. Even in the realm of experience and wisdom, understand that these fulfillments don't have to come from a male or a female. You know what I mean? You can have an intellectual partner or emotional partner that could be the same sex as you, and that you call that your best friend. You can find that in a female. Women, if you meet a guy who has found that in a female, don't try and take that from them. This is their social partner. You understand? Men, if you meet a female who already has that in a male, don't take that from them. Like, that's their social partner. They get along. They had a lot of time together. Especially, because we do that. We like to try to possess, tell people, we don't want them around and things like that. There are no rules that are written on a big chalkboard in front of the teacher's class anymore. You are now welcome to form your own groups and decide how you want to work this thing. And so let's do that. Let's go into relationships and decide what a relationship is to you, what that would entail, and see if that other person can coincide with you in that. But don't try to dictate what it's going to be, because I promise you, if you're doing that, you're going to end up in a controlled relationship, and neither one of you will be what we call being, and you'll be playing roles, because both of you are going to do what you need to do to keep the other person not mad, because you know what their rules are. And I want to be me, and I want to, in every situation, act how Kevin would act. And I want the person that's with me to love me when I do that. Like, I don't know. I don't want you to, if you're my woman, I guess, and you're around and a guy speaks to you, I don't want you to be like, is it okay to speak back? Will Kevin be mad? Like, that's crazy. Would you speak back if I wasn't standing there? Then if you would, then speak back. Well, I don't understand. Like, I don't want you to be fake around me. That would turn me off. Like, you understand? Turn me completely off. if you would laugh at his joke, if I wasn't sitting there, if it was funny, laugh. I'm not insecure to the point of like, why you laughing at this man's jokes? Why you do that? Why you do that? Like, listen, man, live, man. I don't believe that showing someone attention in that way or laughing or joking around in that way means anything more than what that is. You could be a jokester. You could be a person who has fun, who likes to have fun. I wouldn't say you're a flirt. Stop flirting. I don't like that. Like, I would never try to change your personality. That's who you are. That's who leaks out of you. I'd rather nourish that and work with you within that. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jamie, if it's funny, laugh. It don't matter if I'm standing there like, or whatever, laugh if you think it's funny. But either which way, guys, that's it for me. I'm about to finish enjoying my time out here. I did have a good time yesterday at that fight. And believe me, when I get back home, I'll do a live and I'll set up and talk to you guys about it, show you guys some pictures, some video footage. I got pictures with so many people last night. I know you guys have been laughing and giving me a hard time about the Holly Berry situation. She definitely was all on her brother, feeling her brother's swagger. No, just like she really was, though. And I was just shocked because I was like, is this really happening, Halle? Are you for real right now? Like, you better stop playing. Stop playing with me, Halle Berry, now. Stop it, But either which way, she was definitely very cool. And we spoke some after I turned the camera off, too. But she was a very nice person, man. A lot of people I met that night were just super cool. And I'm joking like that about Halle, man, because I grew up watching Halle. When I grew up, it was Denzel Washington for the women and Halle Berry for the dudes. You know what I mean? And so I never would have thought that Halle would be like flirting with me like that. So it's just crazy. But either which way, family. Hey, Ricky, you want to say anything to close us out?
Yeah, man. Before we leave, like real quick, like it was a couple of things, man. This show could have been longer, man. But like you say, trust goes a long way. I mean, if you gotta go through your girl's phone, if you gotta check up on her male friends, if you gotta do all of that, then like that's a stressful situation for the both of you. My girl, man, she went out with a couple of her guy friends, and I ain't asked what time she was coming back or who they was or anything like that because I'm not gullible and I'm not naive, but I'm just like, if I can't trust you, then I don't need to be with you. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to know all your male friends. I don't have to go out with y'all. I don't have to ask what time you're coming back. I just know that if you go out, just keep me in mind and keep, understand what you're doing, be safe, and just come back home and everything is good. It's I guess less mentally draining for you, and it's less mentally draining for me. So in your relationship, just communicate with your partner. Be honest about what you want and what your goals are for the future. I mean, if you are with someone that's not giving you what you want, you're going to find yourself broken up later anyway. So you might as well just have the conversation. Who knows, you might actually get what both of you actually want. So
that's true, Ricky. And listen, Ricky, man, let's meet back here again, man. Of course, next week, and let's continue this topic. I think I don't think we still closed it out or got all the way through. There's so much to entail. So we're gonna meet back again and finish this topic out, man. I think that we could just keep diving on it because that's a lot of the questions, man, when you're dealing with relationships, because it is a different person and it is so hard to establish those dynamics when you're working with those different people, and we have to figure out a way to be open enough to do that. And so, would that be okay with you, Ricky?
Yes, sir.
All right, and just so y'all know, I saw somebody say I was starstruck. I wasn't starstruck. I was talking to her like a regular person. I was just telling her, I watched her growing up, but I wasn't starstruck. I don't really see people as stars. What it was, I was just shocked that it was that Halle Berry was flirting with me. That's all. It wasn't that she was that I watched her growing up. It was that it's Halle Berry, and I guess that's starstruck. I guess I don't know. It's more that she. I guess she has options, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is Halle Berry, right? Like, what would Halle Berry want with me? Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of what it was more like.
Oh, man, we going to be hearing about this for the next 10 years. It's going to be 2030. You're going to be like, you really thought my man Halle Berry?
All right, man. All right. Okay. All right. I love you all. Hey, Ricky, man, I appreciate you coming on to the show, bro. And I'll see you next week, man.
All right, bro.
Hey, and family, listen, be evolution, be the change that you want to see, and no candle loses its flame from lighting another. Ricky, you want to close us out?
Man, the only guy that we need each other, the only guy that I need you.
Peace, beautiful family. Thank you, bro.